Hello traders, my name is Tomasz Wiśniewski. I'm a Chief Analyst in Alpha Research and Analysis, and this is Daily Analytical Report, where we will try to look for decent trading occasions on the market. We will try to look for decent trading setups. First, as always, we have to start with the calendar. Yesterday we started with PMI from Eurozone, from UK. This came, let's say, mixed, and PMIs from Germany came worse than expectations, but still very high number. PMIs from UK a little bit better than expectations, also very good number. Today we had retail sales from Australia, which came better than expected. We continue with PMIs. We will have PMIs from US, and we have important data from Eurozone, which is an inflation CPI from Eurozone, right? So this will definitely influence the common European currency. Apart from that, just a pack of data from US and a bit of a Fed talk speech from Bullard and Mester. Apart from that, well, we still wait for the new tariffs from China as a response for the tariffs from US. So another episode of our trade war. But apart from that, not much is happening. Although from the fundamental side, we don't have any interesting news, but from the technical side of the market, we do have very, very interesting developments. Maybe not on cable, but on the other pairs, especially on Canadian dollar and Japanese yen. Especially on Canadian dollar to Japanese yen. So first, let me start with the cable. With the cable, which is still trying to protect the neckline. Neckline is under fire right now. We do have this head and shoulder formation, shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Then we broke the neckline at the end of March, and we tested the neckline the same day. Then we tested the neckline 4th of August. April, I'm sorry, we tested that yesterday, and we are testing that today. With every test is a bit deeper, which can be the negative sign. But the thing is that we are still defending, and as long as we are below the neckline, the sentiment can be perceived as still negative. So even though that the price is putting pressure on this resistance, the fact that we are below creates a negative situation for the cable. Still, the price closing above this purple area will be definitely a positive sign, and price closing above the purple area will be a cancellation of the sell signal and will be triggered to open buy signal, buy position itself. Next one is euro to Canadian dollar. This setup is absolutely beautiful. Today we do have a small retracement, but this setup itself is awesome. What we had is a head and shoulder formation. We bounced from the neckline after creating the right shoulder, but this bounce was very small. On H4 created a nice shooting star, as you can see here. We broke the neckline, we broke the horizontal support, and the price synced. Now we do have a reversal, and well, it's common that the broken support is tested as a resistance, and I think that's what we are expecting, what we're having right now. But still, the target is here. That's the target for this movement, 152.60, which from now is 500 pips lower. So that is still a great trade in terms of the risk to reward ratio. And now I think it's a bit, it's not so safe to open a short position. I think that the price will want to check this area first, check this as a resistance, and once you will see a reversal pattern, like a bearish reversal pattern, that will be a good occasion to sell. So for now, to wrap the situation up, the sentiment is definitely negative. We do have a sell signal, but not now. Now we do have a reversal short-term upswing, which is about to test the recent support as a resistance, and the bearish price pattern on the resistance will be a sell signal itself. Euro to British pound, that is beautiful. This is our real transaction, my real sell position, which I opened after this head and shoulder pattern. That was beautiful. I closed that on the support. The price after that went higher, then created this correction, broke the lower line of this correction and went lower. Today we just have a correction of this movement, but it all looks promising for the sellers, at least as long as we stay below the green and blue area. So now the scenario for this pair is to test the support again, and I also do have this position. I have a short position here on Euro to British pound. I have a short position on Euro CAD. Both of them are already protected with break-even points, so they are not on stop losses. I cannot lose on those positions. If the price will reverse, I would just close it on break-even points. So these are very, very nice setups. Next one is New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar, which in my opinion had a very positive sentiment, at least yesterday. But why? Because the price defended this horizontal support, defended that again today. Yesterday it was looking really even better because we were breaking this resistance. At the end of the day it was a false breakout, but now the price is aiming higher again. So this is head and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head and right shoulder, and bounce from this is a cancellation of this head and shoulder formation. So head and shoulder is a negative, is a bearish pattern. The price failed to break the neckline, which cancels the sell signal. So if the price does not want to go lower, most probably it will climb higher, and that's my scenario for the New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. So price aiming higher, price bouncing from the support, and price aiming higher. That is my scenario for New Zealand dollar to Canadian dollar. That is an interesting occasion in terms of risk to reward ratio. So you buy here, stop loss here, so it's like 60 pips, let's say, but the potential profit is 180, so it's 3 to 1. Potential profit is 3 times higher than the potential loss. And American dollar to Canadian dollar, yes, that is one of the sweetest setups here. But now this comeback is very worrying, right? It was a very sweet setup. Head and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head and right shoulder, breakout of the neckline. And the price was doing really good after the breakout of the neckline, tested that as a resistance, then dropped. But now this comeback is pretty strong, and actually this can be a false breakout pattern. This can be very dangerous for the sellers. If the price will climb, I think that as for the resistance, not only the neckline but also here, and price closing above this green area will be a cancellation of the sell signal and will be a buy signal itself. So that can be potentially a very dangerous situation for the buyers. A very dangerous situation for the sellers. I'm sorry, because sellers have they opened short position. I'm sorry, sellers open short position here, many of them, and their stop loss orders are somewhere here. Once those stop loss orders will be triggered, this will just accelerate the movement in the opposite direction, so an upswing. So we may be seeing a false breakout pattern right now as we speak. I like to trade false breakouts, so maybe this will be an interesting situation for me as well. Australian dollar to Japanese yen. That was a very good situation, but it is not working well right now, because that was an inverse and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. The price defended this horizontal support, broke the neckline, broke the horizontal resistance, and then went higher. That's a very good. That was a very good buy signal. But now we do have a strong reversal. Japanese yen is gaining strength. Actually, I think that something could happen on the market, that we have such a strong reversals, or just traders are abandoning the signals from yesterday and they are making the opposite trades. Let me check if there is a major information on the market. Or not. Okay, we do have this information about China tariffs 30 minutes ago. China is planning 25% tariffs on American soybeans. They also said that they are planning tariffs on 106 US products. Planning additional 25% tariffs on US autos, chemicals. Effective date for the tariffs will be announced at the later date. They are planning tariffs on $50 billion of US goods, planning tariffs on US aircrafts, on US cotton and corn. So this is why safe havens are now gaining strength, and like gold, for example. Yes, gold is climbing higher. It's a result of those tariffs. So we do have an explanation, and this was brought by CCTV. So China television. So we do have reaction on that right now. So this can be a cancellation of the buy signal. So a sell signal itself, once the price will break the lower line of the triangle, that will be a super important sell signal. Yes, and this green support. So price getting there is a super strong sell signal. Canadian dollar to Japanese yen. Also, it was a very strong buy signal in my opinion, but we are about to see the cancellation of that. Let me explain you the situation from the very beginning. That's a head and shoulder formation, inverse head and shoulder formation, left shoulder, head and right shoulder, right? This formation is present on an important support, as you can see here, support. And then we break the midterm downtrend line, we break the neckline, we break the horizontal resistance here. So far so good, because the price is still above those supports, right? So it is still all good. But the thing is that this retracement can be just the beginning. So if the Japanese yen, for example, will break major supports on other instruments, it will break major supports also here. So far, again, from the technical point of view, this setup is really sweet for the buyers. It looks really promising for the buyers. But we have to keep in mind the surrounding sentiment caused by this information about Chinese tariffs on American products. Well, speaking of which, we do have British pound to Japanese yen, which here was having the best sell setup that I have recently seen in my life. It got cancelled, so that was a false breakout, but now thanks to this situation, we are about to see the sell signal again. The thing is that we have to readjust the support, so I think we can cancel this one. It's no longer relevant here. You can cancel this one. Head and shoulder formation was cancelled as well. So we need to readjust this pattern. So we do have a flag, and there will be another sell signal once we will break those lows. And maybe I will jump into this trade because potentially that can be very, very lucrative. Okay, let's check how the main pair is reacting on those tariffs. The euro to dollar triggered a minor sell signal today. You see the breakout of this horizontal support, and this dynamic support triggered us a nice downswing, but now we are coming back. So dollar is losing a bit of value right now because of those tariffs again. So with this reversal, the movement towards the upper resistance of the sideways trend, so here 125.30, is more probable. The thing is that we are still staying in a range, and quite boring range. I don't like this range on euro dollar because it's blocking us from major trading decisions, at least myself, because I don't like to trade in a range. I prefer to follow the trends. I avoid sideways trends. So euro dollar is not tradable for me at the moment. Swiss franc to Japanese yen. Here we had this chance for this inverse head and shoulder formation, but if not, they will just break the support, and that will trigger a strong sell signal. Let me just there's something wrong with my mouse. Yes, okay. So if they don't want to use this head and shoulder formation, maybe they will use this triangle and go lower. Breakout of the lower blue line triggers us a strong sell signal. Australian dollar to American dollar, unfortunately, this is not the best. Well, that's a sideways trend, right? We do have a kind of a flag. Okay, flag is right. Flag is a trend continuation pattern. What is the trend here? Trend is bearish. Downswing, triangle, downswing, flag. So we should see the breakout of the lower line of the flag, and we should see this test of this long-term uptrend line here. This trade has not great risk to reward ratio, but well, that's what the situation is here. We have bigger chances of the breakout of the lower line of the flag, and we have bigger chances of aiming the lower line of this channel up formation. British pound to Australian dollar. After the breakout, we were expecting the drop. Now it's not so obvious. Luckily, I don't have a trade here because, well, that wouldn't be on loss now, but it does not look promising anymore. So we are entering the stage of a sideways trend. So the pair loses. Actually, I'm gonna delete this instrument because I don't see anything interesting here. New Zealand dollar to Japanese yen. Here we do have a strong buy signal still. This inverse head and shoulder formation, breakout of the horizontal neckline, breakout of the dynamic resistance. Now obviously Japanese yen is stronger again due to the fundamental news, but this only created a chance to test the broken resistance as close as support. So if you do not believe in those trade wars, that is a good occasion to buy for you. with a potential high profit there. So this is a great risk to reward ratio trade. Even if you play it safe and put a stop loss below the right shoulder, 120, you have still good risk to reward ratio. If you won't play it so safe, like stop loss here, 60, even 70 pips, potential profit more than 4.5 times bigger than the potential loss, which is a very good risk to reward ratio. American dollar to Swiss franc is having a good occasion for the sellers because we are bouncing from the upper line of the wedge formation close to 50% Fibonacci. Wedge is a trend continuation pattern, so eventually we should see the drop here. So if you believe in this formation, that's a good occasion to sell. Stop loss above the 50% Fibonacci, above the upper line of the wedge, and you are just aiming for those lows. Also very, very good trade in terms of the risk to reward ratio. American dollar to Danish crown still locked in a sideways trend. Not much is happening. We are waiting for this situation to develop. American dollar to Singaporean dollar. That's also a sideways trend. There is this. I think we can remove this line. What we have is a descending triangle pattern. Well, descending triangles usually result in a breakout of the lower line of the pattern. But here we just have to wait for this situation to develop. Breakout of the lower line of this pattern is more probable. But we are still inside of this formation, so it can go both ways. British pound to New Zealand dollar, we can see that New Zealand dollar is very strong recently. What we are having here is a bounce from the lower line of the flag formation. As long as we stay above the support, the sentiment is positive. We should see the price climbing higher, but there's no buy signal here yet. Buy signal will be triggered once we break the upper line of this flag, right? Not bounce from the lower line of this flag triggers a buy signal, but just the breakout of the upper line of the flag triggers a buy signal. Especially that the trend is positive, especially that we bounced from, we broke the upper line of the triangle formation. So that's where the money should come from the breakout of the upper line of the flag. Obviously, it will, if we are about to break the upper line of the flag, it should start here. So you will lose few pips, but you will gain confirmation. And gold. Gold is benefiting from the current situation, so gold is canceling this head and shoulder formation here, left shoulder, head and right shoulder. They didn't manage to drag the price lower. Now the is heading higher, and most probably we should test this resistance here. Let's check how the Bitcoin is trading. So this week started very bad for Bitcoin, very close to $6,000 support, and the price bounced yesterday. Today we are relatively high for the Bitcoin, but still this is like a very, very small bounce, not very significant. We just stopped on the first local, not even important resistance. It's with us since middle of March, so it's really nothing. As long many traders were like praising yesterday's upswing, but it's nothing, guys. As long as we stay below this resistance, this horizontal resistance, and below the long-term downtrend line, and below the $11,200 for one Bitcoin, as long as we stay below those three, the sentiment is negative, and the chance that we will test $5,800 or $6,000, depending from the exchange where you trade Bitcoin, we should see the further downswing. WTI again, oil is going lower. Here I have to remind you about the Roberto, CEO of the company. We were together on the media lunch on Monday in Kuala Lumpur 2 weeks ago. Not this Monday, but last Monday. And we were here, right? 22nd 26th of March, and Robert was telling about the possible reversal on oil, and that's what we are happening. Exactly, he said this here, and from this point the price of oil is going lower. In the long term, the sentiment is still positive because we are above the long-term uptrend line, but we should see a further drop aiming this uptrend line. And look on the indexes. Indexes won't like what's happening right now with the trade wars. That is why even yesterday the day was positive, but today we start on a back foot on the attack on 7,100 points, which for FTSE is super important support. This is DAX, I'm sorry, 11,900 points, which for DAX is super important support, and price closing below the support will open us away towards 10,000. Why I was talking about FTSE? Because I have FTSE here, and what a trade FTSE has. The 7,100 points, super important, resistance, support, 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 support. After the breakout, what happens with supports when they are broken? They become resistances, and that's what happened yesterday. Not yesterday, last week, I'm sorry. At the end of last week, they became resistance, and then the price went lower. So that is a super strong sell signal, especially that this upswing is a flag, and flag is a trend continuation pattern. So what we should see on FTSE is a further drop. Very, very good sell signal. And S&P 500, as long as we are above those 2,500 points, the sentiment is 550, let's say, sentiment is relatively positive, but a breakout of this horizontal support will open the gates to hell. And by the gates to hell, we say that we will have a strong downswing. Maybe a beginning of a downtrend. We will see. So this is the situation on the market. I hope you enjoyed that. A few good trading setups as we speak. So I won't take your time. I won't take your time from you. And I would just leave you alone with your charts, and you can trade some of those setups. Thanks very much for watching Trading Sniper. For more trading, okay, that's a daily analytical report, and our short break, and after that webinar about MetaTrader 4. So thanks very much. In the meantime, visit our Twitter account and our website alpari.news.